Quack, quack, y'all, and welcome to Van City Beats, Eats, and More! My name is Cazi. I'm joined on the show today with Angel Cow of Cow Designs. And yes, we are here in her beautiful artist studio space with her lovely ducks. Do we have a name for this duck?
This duck?
This duck or this duck?
Just duck.
Duck and duck. It's a very slight, subtle intonation difference, but duck and
duck.
There we go.
Good.
I would love to start today's conversation with, I guess, knowing about your very early beginnings and your relationship building with art.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started, I'm going to take this off because it's getting real hot here.
I know, right? I'm like,
amazing.
my one armpit under here is already sweating because of duck.
And that's how my hair looks like. But I'll have them here.
There you go. We'll get into talking about the relationship to ducks in a bit.
Here. Yeah.
I want to know about your childhood relationship to art and how that began for you.
Yeah, so I grew up so I was born and raised in Taiwan up until I was like 7 years old.
Where in Taiwan?
Taipei
Okay.
City. Well, actually, like going back between Taipei, Taichung, and Keelung. Yeah. And I remember when I was in, preschool, kindergarten, I always excelled in art because I was more excited about art than anything else. Art and music, those two were my biggest interest back in the day. And it just made sense for me. And then when I got here, I moved here when I was like 7/8. Same thing through grade school. I always excelled more in arts and PE and music than I did all the factual memory.
Yeah, math, science.
Yeah, those are interesting to me, history, but it's just like to retain information is a little bit harder for me. So the way that I paid attention in class and stayed awake was doodling. So doodling in lectures, filling my notebooks with art. That's also how I met friends, is through art as well. And I guess PE and dance.
Do you have like a specific medium that you gravitated towards when you were that young?
Pencil and paper, black and white. I was just like, color was always so scary for me because I didn't understand color theory. I didn't understand what worked well with what, and there was no undo button. So I always stuck to just
what
black
you could
and white.
erase as well.
Yes, and the shading. I really like shading. Yeah. So high school, just excel in arts. I didn't want to go into art school though. I didn't get into art school because I was afraid of being a starving artist. So I was actually really interested in psychology, and I actually wanted to be a psychologist because I was interested in the brain and how the human brain works. So I ended up actually interviewing a psychologist during that time. I called like 10 psychologists in the city to ask them if I can interview them. I was like 17, just before I graduated, and like only one person said yes. So I went to her I guess studio, or not studio, but her space, and I asked her like her career, how she got to where she was. And she basically told me that if I go to school now at the age of 17 and I graduated, I would be done maybe in like 10, 15 years. Maybe.
That's a long time.
For psychology? Yeah, I guess, yeah. So I'd probably be done by like late 20s, early 30s. And then she was like, you have time to be a psychologist later in life when you have actually lived more life experience. If you are still interested in psychology, you can go back into it later on. So I was like, oh, that's a really good point. Maybe I should live my life now, not going to school for like 10 years. And if I want to be a psychologist, maybe I can go to school then at like age 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another life. Why not?
Another life, yeah. And so I ended up not going to psychology. I ended up going to tourism because I was interested in travel.
Okay.
And so I did tourism for 2 years and ended up volunteering for a government program for 6 months And then I realized that I wanted to pursue arts. So I came back and I went to not art school, but tech art school.
What's that?
Technology, like
Yeah,
infotech. Yeah, so like web development, web design.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a different kind of art, but still sort of artistic. And that's where I am today. I ended up just graduating from learning how to make
Based art.
Yeah, so graphic design and illustrations and websites.
Which is cool. It's worked out great for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who would you say when you were younger you were influenced by?
Cartoons, absolutely. I loved, even to this day when I watch Looney Tunes,
Oh my gosh, Looney Tunes.
or like any of the, like anything from Cartoon Network, I love it because of just how exaggerated their expressions were or are, and like there's not a lot of dialogue in the old school cartoons.
Do you remember which one specifically that you really liked?
I really like Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also was very much into Miyazaki's film. So like Totoro, what were the other ones? Spirited Away. Just beautiful artwork and storytelling in his works. So that very much influenced me. Also anime growing up, Pokemon, Digimon.
Were you ever a Sailor Moon fan?
Yes. Sailor Moon, yes. Dragon Ball Z, yes. Yeah.
So many kids calling each other Meatball Head in that era.
Yes. Yeah.
Rude.
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold.
Really enjoyed Hey Arnold and Rugrats.
Recess? Did you
what?
ever mess
You
with
know what's-
Recess?
You know what's funny is that I, for some reason, never got into Recess.
Okay.
But I was into Hey Arnold, Blue's Clues for a little
Blue's
bit.
Clues!
Yeah. Rugrats.
Yeah.
Rugrats
Rugrats was an excellent era of cartoons.
Yes. And that's all I can remember right now. Samurai Pizza Cats at one point.
The Rugrats movie was very significant to my childhood.
Okay. That was I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, and that was back in the day when they would release music albums from the movie. And that one had so many people. There was that song with Maya and...
yes!
Who else was on that track?
Oh, that was a banging
Yeah.
album.
Someone
for
Google
that
it.
movie.
Someone Google it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That was good. Yes.
Anyone in your
Flashback.
family that was also artistic or creative?
My dad, he went to school for graphic design for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And he was very encouraging for me to pursue arts. My mom, I don't know if she's artistic. She is creative, but not in an artistic sense, I think. But I would say my dad a lot more. Yeah. They were very encouraging when I was young to pursue art, yeah.
And then how about dance? At what point did dance and street dance specifically enter your life?
Oh my gosh. So you think you could dance?
Yeah, the show.
The show when I was like in high school, and I remember watching this, I think it was the first or second season,
Yeah.
and this guy comes on, and his name is Popping Onion Kim. And
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Popping
Onion
onion?
Kim. Yeah, I remember, yeah. And like, I saw him, this was the first time I ever saw Popping.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he did a wave, and then he did some pop. It was just so electrifying for me. I was like,
Yeah.
what is he doing? What is that? And immediately I was hooked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I was just like very interested. And so back in the day, like when I Googled dance, the only thing that came up was Harvard Dance Center. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really offer any popping classes. They offered breakdancing. And so I went to breakdancing. Breakdancing was the first dance that I learned.
And
that
who was the teacher?
Jarek.
Yes, of course.
Yes. But it was so hard for me.
Yeah. Breaking is hard.
Yeah. And I never had any like dance lessons prior to that. So no, wait, that's not true. Hold on. Wow, how old was I there? I think I was like 14. 13 or 14. Yeah. And I didn't have any prior dance experience. So getting right into breaking was tough. Didn't go back to breaking. But I was still very much interested in popping. And I just couldn't find anybody that was teaching popping. And I eventually just like met a bunch of like, I was into gaming. And then like gaming led me to meet this group of people who are from the gaming community. It was really cute. We had we would have dinner and watch movies together. It was great. But I met a guy through the gaming community. He ended up being a photographer, and we would have these like photography walks. And so I got to know him a little bit more, and he told me that he got into dance recently. And he's like, "Are you interested in dance?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Are you interested in popping?" I'm like, "Yes." I don't know anybody in the city. I couldn't even Google any like buddy who does popping. And so
Who was this? Was this Bryce?
no, this was Chris. He's not really in the scene anymore.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to Jameson. And so that Jameson
shout
became
outs to Jameson and
Jameson.
Groovy Gentleman,
Yes.
the Groovy G's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he became my first teacher
Ah.
for a very long time. Yeah. And so I learned book from him, popping. My artistry, my art journey blossomed after 2020. I've always drawn. Yeah, I mean, I've drawn since I was a kid, since I was 7 years old. But I think like different pathways throughout my life have always been like, I wouldn't say distraction is not the right word, but like, you know, going to tourism, going to psychology, going to being interested in other forms of careers that were not art related have always been like there. And I think that's just me trying to follow the path of like the society standard of getting a job or like being secure. So I didn't go to art school because I have a fear. So it's always like, I think I've always led with fear rather than love. So then when 2020 came around, I think it was like the time where I could like stay at home. I had to stay at home.
We all had to stay at home.
Everyone had to stay at home.
Yeah.
But it was a time for me to like, there's not a lot of noise anymore. There's none of the rat race. So it's time for me to like figure out what I wanted to do. And so I did. Like Michael's was the place I was always going to because they were the only thing open back in the day to get art supplies. So I tried making stickers, I tried sewing, I tried watercoloring, I tried making GIFs, like GIF, like animated images. And I tried a bunch of other stuff I don't remember, but I ended up getting into greeting cards. And I started making these greeting cards because they were so fun.
And sassy.
And sassy.
Sassy.
And punny.
Real punny.
And real funny. And they were just fun, and I love how silly they are. I love how much it brings people joy and like laughter. And so I started doing that. And that led to me thinking, oh, I can like make prints out of my artwork. And so I started like turning my crazy psychedelic, I guess, artworks into little prints. But I was able to evolve to this type of art now because I got into digital drawing. Digital drawing versus analog drawing, black and white, pen or paper, is different because I have an undo button.
You're like the safety of the undo button.
But like, so being able to explore using colors and like undo and trying different variations, and like, it's not even just the color, but like the mirroring and like the, a lot of the stuff, my stuff is mirrored.
And by mirrored, you mean like making it symmetrical?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, making it symmetrical.
This is as good as my undo button, y'all. It's called that.
Oh, okay.
This is my undo button. We're just start like that, you know? Just joking. This is as far as I got, okay? No shame. No shame. We're leading with love, not fear.
Yes, that's right.
We'll come back to this. There's a reason why it says milk.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. I love that 2020 provoked you to just like tap into as many different creative outlets as possible.
Yes.
And I've never thought about how using a digital art making, like that, the undo button,
Yeah,
or
man.
the like make a thing and enlarge it, or change the colors if you want,
Yes.
or ...
Or using different kind of like brushes and textures, and like, yeah, being able to zoom in makes, like, sometimes when I do, like, going back to analog, you're like oh, wait, that doesn't do anything.
You're like,
yeah, exactly. The double tap to undo.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then I'm like, oh wait, hold on.
A quick note on Angel's punny cards. Last year I bought one, or yeah, it was last year I bought one that said, "So sorry, I overreacted," as in ovaries, as in when a woman gets her period, as in PMS, as in feeling hormonal and very moody, which we should never apologize for. I'm just saying.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Anyways, it was an excellent card.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Took home a couple more. Some of y'all out there might receive one from me. You never know. You never know.
It's got an image of an ovary, a cute little ovary. Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one's
thank
so
you.
good.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
And so then from there,
Yeah, and so from there, that's when I started publishing or publicizing my artwork. Because you didn't know until I did the SDF poster.
yes.
You didn't know until now. And like, I've noticed, and that's something I realized like a year, 2 years ago, is that a lot of my friends know that I do art, but they don't know to what extent.
Yes.
Because I never really shared my art. I wanted to, but I was, again, leading with fear. I didn't really know how. I didn't want it to get, duplicated, stolen, or whatever it was that I had going on in my brain. And I was like, no, actually, when I released it to the public, I had a really good response. And so that really encouraged me, but also nothing crazy happened. And so I was like, oh, I can do this. This is fine. I can put it out there. I'm getting feedback. I'm getting like people's interpretations that I'd never thought of, which is so helpful. I get to understand myself a little bit more by looking at what I produce and the colors I use, and then how other people see it as well. It's just a really good conversation starter. And I love it.
What's interesting to me is that you can dance in front of people. Yet, like, no one might even know that you did the thing. You're just like, oh, hey, look at this. I don't know who did it. Like, where does that come
Oh,
from?
that's so funny. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting how we can be more comfortable in certain situations and spaces? And
Yes.
then, like, what is it about this that
Yeah.
makes you have felt fear for so long until now, maybe?
It's so personal. It's very personal. I've been drawing since I was a kid, and like being able to like really, and also this generation where we're in now with technology and where it's at, being able to reach 80 million people or like
On the internet?
on like in just a split second, and
Yeah.
it doesn't cost anything, is insane. Reaching people's opinions from all around the world. It's a very interesting thought and idea to digest. And so I think I just had to warm up to that idea. Whereas dance is just like people in my circle, people that I know. Or when I go to like different parts of the city, or people come, like out of towners when they come in, it's not like 80 million people. It's just a couple handful of people. And it's like a really tight-knit community. It's really nice. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's very, but it's all learning lessons. Yeah, but I'm enjoying it.
That's good.
Yeah,
And now, so we did a little pre-coffee chat, and now you're doing this full time.
Yes. So I'm now doing my art full time. I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Yeah, there's so many avenues with art, and also just like being an artist, I've learned about myself is I have the shiny object syndrome, where like I'm just so interested in everything that I see, like ceramics, clay making, or like pottery, well, same thing, pottery.
Yeah.
Candle making. I got into candle making at one point, and then I realized, wait, that's not my true calling. It's fun. It was cool to learn how to make candles and knowing how everything worked in that field, but it wasn't this. It wasn't like drawing and expressing what's in my brain onto paper. So I always had to remind myself that this is what I want to do and what I want to focus on. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, trying to like remind myself that this is where I want to be. Yeah, focusing on my art.
How would you describe that, as in where you want to be and where you want to go with your art?
I just want to create. I just want to make. And I want to inspire. And I want to create a space where I could facilitate, like, actually I want to start doing more workshops. Where I can facilitate like a space where others can come and be able to express with less fear. There's always going to be fear. That's something I've learned. Fear is always going to be there.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate it is the difference. And so I want to create a space where people can come and express, tune into themselves, and just use all these different kind of mediums.
How did you evolve from black and white to then being bold enough to play with color?
Technology.
Yeah, the undo button.
The undo button, man. And just like being able to explore and knowing that it's like all can be done here. And all I need to do is just charge up my batteries and I can do it again as long as I want. Yeah, it's great.
What other artists are you, or designers are you inspired by?
Oh, right. So yes, growing up, the other inspiration, artists are like Dali. Salvador Dali has been a huge inspiration for me.
How come? What is it about Dali?
His surrealism, just again, I think it goes back to non-structure, not making sense, but it sort of makes sense, but not really. That's the difference between surrealism and abstract. Abstract is like colors and shapes. Surrealism, from what I understand, is like things you can see that you know it is like a clock, but it's melting. But you can see that it's a clock, or like a cow, but that has like long legs.
Surreal.
It's surreal, exactly. And so it's very dreamscape-like, and I dream quite a lot. I have a dream journal.
Ooh.
A lot of my art is actually inspired by my dreams.
Do tell.
Yeah, I started dreaming a lot when I was in grade school, high school.
That's interesting.
I don't know how it started, but yeah, it just, actually, no, I think I have an idea. It was from social studies. My teacher was talking about how there's nuclear bombs that exist in the world.
Yeah.
And I was scared knowing that information.
Yeah, no kidding. At that young too, to know that's
that
a real
exists,
thing.
Yeah. And so I remember my first vivid dreams were about apocalypse, bombs. I know, and like
as
death
a child
and dying. Yeah, but they were vivid and they were real. And that was also the first time I experienced lucid dreaming, without knowing that it was lucid.
What was that experience for you?
So lucid dreaming is when you know when you're dreaming while you're still dreaming.
Yes.
And for me, it was fun because I got to, like, once I knew I was dreaming, I would ask myself questions, or ask other entities in my dream questions because they're, in a way, me. I haven't been able to tap into lucid dreaming as much as I like to. It's actually really tough when you want to do it, but when you don't try to do it, it happens. But it only happens for like a split second until I wake up again. So it's like, my dreams are pretty funny, pretty wild, doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it's all over the place. But it's like a movie that's being played. You know, it's interesting. There's like, it's like holding a memory or like reliving a memory of someone else that's not mine. And that's very, very fun. Because I don't get to live, it's not continuous.
Yeah.
It's only glimpses. And it's the only place that I can ever get in real life. Because in real life right now, It's continuous. I don't know how to explain it. But when I'm dreaming,
Yes.
I don't have any control. And I just sort of go with what is given to me. And I'm watching. Yeah, it's really cool. There's no trailers. I just get thrown into it.
I love that this is how your art is born.
Yeah.
You know,
It's very much inspired by it, yes.
We need outlets like that for, I guess, for some people it's writing, some people it's making music.
Yeah.
You know, but like the energy needs to get transferred and expressed through some other medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Expressed.
How, because, I love this space. This is a pretty cool studio space. We're in the Arc building, which is where Angel has their studio space, as well as where Eastside Cultural Crawl had a landmark so that people could come through and see all the amazing artists. There's a bunch of different studios here. And I'd love to know, how has like having a space really evolved your arts practice?
It has given me a space to explore. Sort of almost like having an iPad, but in real life. I don't know how to explain it. I think that just having an open space really helps. Being able to do whatever I want, create it however I want it. I learned about plants a lot. I never was into plants. Not never I was into plants, but I was just like, never came to my existence until I was like, oh, they're actually nice. And so I started accumulating a bunch. And now I grew to this.
And you figured out how to keep them alive.
Yes, and I also know the names of them and what kind of, different types of plants they are. I learned about my OCDs, what I like being cleaned, when I like it cleaned, and like how I want things to be in a space. Yeah, that's something I learned about. It was just great.
What's one particular thing about you?
I always want the kitchen clean. If the kitchen's not clean, like I just feel like the whole place is not clean. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the dishes for me, it'll never sit more than like a day and a half. Not even. That's like the most it'll be. But I usually clean my dishes while I'm making food, so that when the food's done, I don't have a lot of dishes to clean. It's because I don't have a dishwasher.
I always feel like the state of my room totally reflects the state of my mind.
Ooh, yeah.
In that day.
Yeah.
So
okay.
come luteal
Nice.
PMS phase,
it's
hilarity in my room. It's just like I start a pile of clothes that you've worn from the past couple days, but you haven't put them away or put them in the dirty laundry hamper.
Yes.
They just like sit on a chair. And then finally at the end of the week, I'm like, okay, these are all the outfits I wore this week, you know? Other than that, if it's like, the earlier parts of my cycle where estrogen's on the rise, I feel I'm on my sharpest. My room looks immaculate. Why do you think the world needs art?
Oh, man. It's a really good question. It's a way for us to express. If we don't express what's in our brain, it's all just going to be held up, pent up, and what would the world look like without art?
That's
right?
the question.
No music, no film, no dancing, no color. Not color. There's color. But thank you. There's no paintings. But what is art too, right? Like what makes art art?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And how just everyone places a different value on something.
On something, exactly.
Like this could be just, no offense, Duck, okay? But this could just be, I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, but ratty. This could be just like a ratty thing that, for all we know has children's drool on it and blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
But that's not true of you, Duck. It's not. You are a muse. You are an inspiration. You are helping Angel make money.
Yeah, and so what would it look like without art in the world? I don't know, man. It would just be, actually, because art has existed in caveman days, right? Like,
since time immemorial. Nature is art.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's where it came from, where people started drawing and painting or dancing or making music. It was all inspired by telling stories of our natural environment. That's what our ancestors did.
Storytelling was the first form of what divided us from animals. is being able to tell stories and have imagination. Are we signing our names here?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It seems that we are coming up to the end of our interview.
Okay. Wonderful.
It's so hard to write and talk at the same time.
Yeah.
And it means you have your last 5 seconds to wrap up.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Whatever you're doing.
All right.
And then we're going to grand reveal to one another. Oh, man. It's like, what's the show where they're like, every show that has a contest, you get 5 seconds on the clock, ready, and...
It's like a battle. 3, 2, 1.
Hit. I like when Sevi said at Hustle Van Jam, it's like, hit him with the 5, the 4,
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, and 1.
Nice.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, we got
Are you
it.
ready? Okay, are you ready? And go. What?
I love the wife chuckle. I love it. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Look at my little toilet paper right there. What would the world be without art? Scrunch. Fold. Wipe. Grab.
Chuck.
Once. Oh, Duck is with me. I love that. Is this a cloud?
Yeah.
Am I in a cloud?
You're in a cloud. You're in your purple sweater cloud.
This is so cool. I love it, Angel.
Thank you.
This has been a really fun interview. I've enjoyed getting a peek into your mind. Also trying out how hard it is to interview or answer questions while drawing. This was an experiment.
Yes.
But yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate getting to know more of your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of our community. If y'all want to find out more about Angel, you could find her at Kao Designs, Kao Designs on Instagram. What's your website?
Angelcow.com.
There you go. We have been sitting down with Angel Kao for the last hour, getting to know her personal story, her art journey, her dance journey. And yeah, thank you everyone who's tuned in, who's watching the replay. This has been Van City Beats Eats.